Carmen Fontana leads Centric Consulting's modern software delivery practice, focusing on cloud and emerging tech. With more than 20 years of experience, her zen is when innovation meets data-driven decision-making. She frequently talks to groups on artificial intelligence, Internet of Things, and other emerging technology topics. She has been featured in numerous publications, including InformationWeek, IEEE Transmitter, Security Magazine, EdTech Magazine, and IoT Agenda. She is a cancer survivor, soccer mom, and donut mile champion. Thank you so much for joining us today, Carmen.
My pleasure. I'm looking forward to the conversation.
So please do tell me about this. Is it the donut mile champion title? Did I get that right?
I do get a lot of questions about that. So a donut mile is a very prestigious competition where you eat a donut, run a lap around the track, do that 4 times. So in the course of the event, you eat 4 donuts and run a mile. So not as easy as it seems. The first 2 donuts went down very easy. I gotta say that last lap really had to dig deep as both a runner and a donut connoisseur. So
let's see. And you've also been extremely involved with speaking and writing over this past year, as well as leading a team of engineers in emerging tech. How do you carve out time for this?
Yeah, it is difficult. Content creation is not something you can just do here and there as you have 15 minutes. The creative juices need to be flowing. You need to be deliberate about your time. So it takes a little bit of preparation. So my goals this year were to publish a blog article every single week. I ended up also doing about 11 speaking engagements and about 20 media pieces of it. So definitely had to carve out time each week to do that content creation. And the other thing that was super helpful was my involvement with the IEEE Impact Creators program. A lot of times I have trouble coming up with ideas and finding the outlets for my content. And their IEEE's mission is to use technology to advance humanity, which is exactly very much in line with my personal beliefs as well as kind of my platform. And so they were able to give me writing prompts, introduce me to media opportunities, do networking. And so it was a really great collaboration. And if anything, kind of a kick in the pants as well, in order to get that content created. So definitely making time. The second was, look for partnerships. And the third thing I would recommend is find an accountability partner. So I actually had multiple accountability partners this year, people kind of doing the same things I was around content creation. And we would meet on a regular basis to share best practices and truly just motivate each other. So that was super helpful.
Great. Thank you for those tips. I was also wondering if you could provide some advice on LinkedIn presence. You've had a very strong LinkedIn presence this past year. You share personal updates with respect to your professional career. You share informative articles and post. If someone wants to start having more of a LinkedIn presence but doesn't know how to do that, what recommendations would you have?
So I would start by just getting out there and observing other people, see what they're posting, what resonates with you, what resonates with other people, follow people that do a particularly good job, just so you can start feeling comfortable in the space. Once you develop that comfort and you're ready to post yourself, my biggest tip is just to be authentic. I think a lot of people get on LinkedIn and think they have to be super professional and say all these profound things. And that's far from the case. What people really crave on LinkedIn is authentic conversations with real people. So share your voice, share stories in the first person, share how news and technology or whatever your space is, how it impacts you personally. People really resonate and connect with that. And then I would also make your content rich. In addition to text content, things that I found do really well are personal videos. I like to get my camera out and do a walk and talk video where I'm talking directly to people, as well as pictures of myself doing things, pictures of people I know, even interesting landscapes or things I've seen. Once again, it's that authentic personal connection that people are looking for versus kind of a stodgy corporate persona.
And that's one thing I've noticed having followed you over the past year is that even though you do have this very tech, you're following the trends of what's going on in the industry, you're reporting out what you're seeing from your clients from the industry, you're also very playful with your online presence. And it's funny and it's engaging, it's a little bit goofy at times. And so it's really nice to have that overall personality while getting that information. So I know I've personally enjoyed that when checking out what you're putting out there into the universe.
Oh, I'm glad to hear that. I think people go to LinkedIn during their business day where they're already kind of bombarded with all businessy kind of things. And so by having a different tone and voice on LinkedIn, you can kind of break through all the other chatter.
So speaking of emerging technology, what are you seeing? What is your team seeing in emerging technology trends?
Yeah, in general, I would say just everything is moving faster and faster and proliferating our lives more and more. So machine learning, artificial intelligence, it's basically everywhere at this point. Everything from your smart doorbell to autonomous vehicles and everything in between. We're seeing IoT, Internet of Things, your devices on your wrists, in your homes. Now we're seeing it in smart cities, smart factory floors. So there's just a lot of advanced technology that is everywhere. And so kind of the next level conversation beyond, hey, isn't this cool tech, gee whiz, is conversations around privacy, around ethics. And so we're starting to see deeper, more meaningful discussion about, for instance, autonomous vehicles. They're very cool. But what are the laws that need to govern them? What if an autonomous vehicle has an accident? These are the kind of next level conversations that are accompanying a lot of the tech advancements we're seeing today.
And that's some of the things that I've been seeing trending just in the articles I've been checking out. I didn't consider the ethics of autonomous vehicles and choosing, okay, if I have the choice between hitting this person or who accidentally fell into the road or swerving into the next lane, which do I do? Those are very interesting ethical questions that we haven't had in the past with regards to this extent.
Absolutely. And things like facial recognition. Sometimes it's advantageous, right? When you're in a situation where it can be used to identify bad guys such as terrorists, we're all for that. But do we want people tracking our movements when we're just walking around the city? That's a little bit more uncomfortable. So trying to find the line of where these technologies benefit society and where they may take away some of our privacy.
Let's step away from emerging tech and go back to your professional career. What skill or characteristic do you think has gotten you to where you are today, if you had to identify one?
If I had to identify one, and certainly there's many things, but definitely the biggest one is just having a sense of constant curiosity. So always wanting to learn more. So I work in tech, it evolves quickly. So always wanting to learn about what the next big technology thing is and trying to stuff my brain with all the latest and greatest. But that can be also extended to curiosity about the people around us and the organizations around us. So as a consultant, what makes my clients tick, what makes their organization successful, what may be their challenges, that is very fascinating to me. And I'd say above all else, my curiosity around people. So understanding the people that I work with, understanding what makes them tick, what gets them excited, what is their passion, that allows me to be a much more effective leader, teammate, and friend.
And if you're at all like me, when I am curious, it takes you to realms that you haven't been in before. So you get to discover a lot of new things. But I also find sometimes when I'm dealing with unfamiliar territory, then there can be mistakes that are made. Would you be willing to share one mistake?
Once again, I've made lots of mistakes over the years. I definitely try to frame mistakes. There is a time right after they happen, you're allowed to beat yourself up for a little bit, I think. It's only human nature. But over time, you need to reframe mistakes as a learning opportunity. And what did I learn from this? And how am I better today because I made that mistake? So I think that's a really important mentality shift when we talk about mistakes. Specific to me, I've had a lot, but one that certainly shaped who I am as a leader today My first job managing teams, I was 24, my boss left, and then just like overnight, I was managing a team of 7 direct reports. And I was an idiot kid at that point. I had no idea how to manage people twice my age. So I did what came intuitive was I was the manager that I like and I respond to. So I put on my manager hat and did the things that would be effective if I was my own manager. What I found very quickly is that it's not that simple. Everyone responds to different things. Going back to your last question, everybody ticks a little bit differently. What motivates and makes somebody passionate may be different from one person to the other. And so as a leader, it's really important for me to be the leader to each individual person, the leader that they need versus the leader that I want them to have or the leader that I want to be. And so that is a little bit of kind of nuanced, but has really served me well over the years, and something I return to this day.
And part of what I'm hearing from that, I'm curious if you would agree, is that starting out as a younger engineer, I had more curiosity about the tech or the engineering and the process. And I had to learn to be more curious about the people involved, whether that's my colleagues or whether that's the clients. But I had to realize that this is an integrated solution that has multiple levels. And if I don't pay attention, or if I put a lower level of importance on the human aspect of it, then it may not be successful.
Absolutely. It's certainly a soapbox item for me. I love technology. I want to lead with the technology, as do most people that have it running through our veins. But at the end of the day, to be most successful in our projects, we need to start with people first, then process, and then technology. When you flip those, that's when you get into a world of hurt.
Agreed. So what is a commonly held belief in your industry that you found not to be true?
This is interesting because I think it's kind of nuanced to maybe some of larger macro problems in this space. Is a lot of times people think technology, they think nerdy, Star Trek, into coding all the time, blah, 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 which there is certainly an element of that, and there's nothing wrong with that. But there's a lot of people of all different stripes within the field. I'm a middle-aged soccer mom who loves technology. I couldn't even tell you the name of a Star Trek episode. And so, technology can be a lot more inclusive, and there is opportunities for all different types of people with all different types of backgrounds. And so I think that's one of the common misconceptions that ultimately and unfortunately prevents people from joining this space, is because they don't fit that stereotypical profile.
Yep, not a cookie cutter engineer. I completely support that. Even though I did dress up as Jabba the Hutt for one Halloween, I think we all don't have to fit into that nerdy of a mindset.
I feel like we need to see a picture of that. I'm hoping the editors can put that in the video.
I don't know why I just did that to myself. Thanks, Carmen. Okay, what is one thing that you or someone you know has done during a difficult time to allow them to make a career reset, to turn that into a future investment?
Once again, I think it's important to start thinking of it as mindset. So yes, it's a setback, but it is also an invitation to try something different. And in the world that we live in today, not only tech, but just there's an expectation that people are going to change jobs, change careers, do different things, even if they stay in the same job. And so when there are setbacks, they may be unfortunate, but they're actually, what is kind of part of our lives today and fairly common. And so changing that mindset is really important. And then using it as an opportunity, because you're not drugged down by the past. You have the option to try different things. And there's so many more, online trainings and mentoring programs. And so the options are far larger than they ever would have been in the past when you had a setback.
Thank you so much for all this information, Carmen. If somebody wants to connect with you, what is the best way to follow your work?
So definitely, I'm on Twitter all the time at Carmen Fontana. I'm also on LinkedIn daily. You can just look up Carmen Fontana. Would love to connect with you on either of those. Love talking to people about tech, about company cultures, just about anything really. So I'd love to hear from the audience.
Awesome. Well, it's been great talking with you. I've really enjoyed what you've had to say about curiosity, what you had to say about changing our mindset when there are mistakes made or how we face certain challenging times. So thank you for sharing these insights with us.
Yeah, my pleasure. Thanks so much for listening.
Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed this episode, please click like below and also subscribe to see future episodes.